If you've watched those old Kung Fu movies, you probably have seen a scene somewhere where some old Kung Fu master does some Qi magic and knocks over a person or cuts a tree branch with his Qi powers. Fanciful tales aside, Qigong is a real practice that you can do day to day that has lots of different health benefits. It is not something you will ever hear your physician or PCP prescribe, but it has many of the same benefits as exercise, for example. Now, Qigong goes back several thousands of years and originally was called something called Daoyin, which means guiding and pulling. So in this video, we'll talk about what Qigong is, how it can benefit you, and introduce you to a very basic Qigong form you can do on a day-to-day basis. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Alex Heyne, board licensed doctor of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, and author of the health book, Master the Day. So let's jump in. So let's talk about the power and the purpose of Qigong. I mean, after all, you could say, well, why don't I just go to the gym 5 days a week? And you should. You'll probably be better off by doing that. But in reality, most of us are not going to do that. And if the gym turns you off, or maybe it's too intense on your joints, Qigong is a great alternative that has many overlapping benefits. So if we break down this word Qigong, you have the character for Qi, sometimes people translate as energy, but I hate that translation, and Gong, which means basically work or skill. So you could think of it as Qi work, right? But interestingly, even in modern Chinese, you could say that this also translates to breath work. So a lot of the overlap of Qigong with exercise is that it involves physical movements, breathing exercises, and often guided visualizations or some kind of guided intention setting. So you could technically do your gym workouts as Qigong if you do that, if you're regulating the breath and the movement, etc. Now, I don't love the concept of Qi translated as energy. But if you can imagine, this comes out of a culture with traditional Chinese medicine, with Taoism, with these channels and meridians you see all over the body in these acupuncture charts. And so what Qigong and really practitioners of it believe is that blockage and stagnation of flow in these channels and meridians produces illness. We know that's true on a material level because if you have digestive problems long enough, they can become bigger digestive problems. You know, if you have acid reflux long enough, it can lead to Barrett's esophagus. Barrett's esophagus long enough has a small chance of becoming cancer, esophageal cancer, stomach cancer. So it is a very scientific statement that long-term disruption of physiological flow, proper functioning of your organs, can lead to very serious disease and potentially death. Now, not everything progresses to that point, but what ancient doctors noted was that what they call the free flow of Qi in the organs and channels and meridians is what leads to longevity and a long life. And even if you don't live a long life, it's what basically prevents serious illnesses. So how do we actually do that with Qigong? Now, there's a very neat research paper called Daoyin, Origin, Development, Potential Mechanisms, and Clinical Applications in the Journal of Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine. And in this research paper, they pointed out the 3 ways, the 3 mechanisms that Qigong actually affects your health. Now, it works, number 1, on the HPA axis. So the HPA axis is the interface between certain centers in your brain and your adrenals. And so for many of us with chronic stress symptoms, it can improve those by working on the HPA axis. Secondarily, it can work to reduce stress by causing changes in your nervous system. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise because physical exercise and breathing exercises both can decrease your nervous system activity and decrease certain levels of hormones, stress hormones like, for example, cortisol. And finally, the 3rd way Qigong improves your health is that Qigong actually has an anti-inflammatory effect and regulates your immune system. So Qigong in general has 3 key practices. The 3 key practices to Qigong are physical movement. For example, you might see people going breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. They can do movements that look like Tai Chi, right? These kind of like cloud hands movements like this and like this. They can have movements that are just up and down, alternating palms. There can be tapping motions, so tapping on the arms, right? Tapping on the chest, tapping on the abdomen. But then we combine it with breathing. Breathing can be as simple as inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. It can become even more advanced where you inhale, you contract your stomach, you pull up the perineum and groin, you swallow, and you imagine a ball of energy building in your low abdomen. These are getting into the more advanced esoteric practices of Qigong that are more on like the spiritual or religious side of Taoism. And finally, we have visualizations. So for example, sometimes there are Qigongs where for certain kinds of anxiety or depression or sadness, where the person will tap on their chest and they can either visualize, for example, things breaking up or opening, or they can actually make sounds like ha. So there's a Qigong for emotional healing, where you're knocking on the chest like this and you're saying ha as you're knocking. And it really does have a very strong emotionally regulating effect. Both the physical impact, the tapping there, as well as the certain sounds are associated with different organs. Now, before we get into a very, very basic Qigong routine, it's sometimes not always easy to know where certain symptoms are coming from. And so I've taken the time to put together a free quiz. According to traditional Chinese medicine, this is likely the cause of your symptoms. You can go to dralexheyne.com/quiz or check out the first link below this video and go through that quiz, because it will help you figure out, my anxiety or my bloating or my sleeping problems. What organ or physiological pathway is it most likely correlated with? So that quiz will help you figure that out. And in addition, we've also hyperlinked to some of our best videos on different organs in the body and what exactly can help you the most, even if you never come to see me or another healthcare practitioner. So let's do a very basic kind of Qigong here. It's called many different names. Sometimes I've heard it called yin yang regulate the qi palms. And basically for this kind of Qigong, all we're going to do is the general physical movement. You can either just go up and down, or you can alternate your palms a lot like this. So for this kind of Qigong, basically what we want to do is sit somewhere comfortable, make sure your feet are flat. And again, the general motion can just be up and down, or if it's a little easier on your elbows and your shoulders here, just kind of this sort of motion. So we'll do one of each. And basically the physical posture will be breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And I would try to do it at a rhythm of 4 counts in and 4 counts out. So even slower than this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. From there, you can keep this rhythm or tempo going. And one thing you can visualize here as part of our third part of Qigong is as you're breathing in, imagine you're sucking in energy from all around you, from the trees, from the sun, from the moon, from the earth below. You're breathing it in with the breath, and as you breathe out, you're condensing it into this little ball, like a little battery charge in your low abdomen. Breathing in, sucking in everything, sucking in everything, sucking in everything, and then condensing it into the battery charge and recharging that battery in what's called the lower dantian, right? Below the belly button here, inside the body. Breathing in, breathing in, breathing in, breathing in, sucking in all the juice, then pressing it in, pushing it into that ball, and recharging that battery in the low abdomen. So we have our physical movement, we have our breathing, and then we also have our guided visualization. Breathing in, everything's coming in, breathing out, and it's just going down the center line of the body and condensing into a little pill like this, a little battery. Now doing this Qigong is great even just for 5 minutes. You'll notice your heart rate will come down right away. If you're having a stressful day, you'll notice less of that physical sensation of stress, like a tension headache. And again, the heart rate is one of the best barometers. So that's a very basic kind of Qigong you can do every day. I would say for good benefits, minimum time would be 10 minutes. If you really want substantial changes in blood pressure, heart rate, that kind of thing, 40 minutes, 4 days a week, just like exercise. So you can do that Qigong with different kinds of breathing. You can do it at work if you're getting stressed out at the end of your day or in the morning. You can also do it if you have problems sleeping. Get up and just do that Qigong for 10 to 15 minutes. Heart rate will come down. You'll be able to fall back asleep. Now don't forget guys, I work with a limited number of new patients every month in my clinic in Los Angeles or virtually via telemedicine. So if you want to connect, just go to dralexheyne.com/clinic, or the contact number and email for my clinic is right below this video. So feel free to reach out. And also I have a whole host of other videos on how to use Qigong to heal in the link up here.